Hello everyone. Our group reading presentation named Theoretical Importance of Contingency in Human Computer Interaction Effect of Message Interactivity on User Engagement. Here is our agenda. We have 6 parts in this presentation. In this reading, the researchers point out the key to message interactivity is the presence of contingency. Also, message interactivity and interactivity effects means that the interactivity of information marks a fundamental change in the way information is handled during communication, from the transfer of information to the exchange of information. That is, the message we received depends on the message we sent, which result in the thread loop of interdependent message. In this presentation, our group member will discuss an overview of theoretical and operational definition of message interactivity and perceived contingency adapted and tested in this study. We will also use the data to explain the impact of mediation message interactivity on set attitude and discuss the theoretical significance of interaction research and the practical significance of interaction design. So let's begin. The first part is message interactivity and theoretical importance of contingency. In order to elaborate what process the users can act on whether these actions carry any psychological importance, there are 3 dimensions of interactivity. They are sensory, behavior, semantic dimension. Of these 3, the semantic dimension is more pertinent to the conceptualization of the key independent variable in the study, namely message interactivity. Well, these are distinct perceptions. The literature reviewed above suggested that all 3 are important, positive, correlated of message interactivity. Therefore, we propose the following hypothesis. The greater the amount of interaction history displayed on the interface, the higher the perceived contingency, perceived interactivity, and perceived dialogue. The next part is the power of live chat. Here are 2 things that produce positive psychological effect on user. Organizing online content for contingent delivery of online information. And secondly, online tools that promise contingent interaction with another communication partner. Based on the research and discovery of literature, the author puts forward the following hypothesis. Adding a live chat affordance to interaction history on an interface will increase perceived contingency, perceived interactivity, and perceived dialogue, as we mentioned before. They also raised a research question. Will there be a difference in user perception of contingency, interactivity, and dialogue when users have a live chat interaction with the human agent compared with a chatbot? Next is perceived contingency and user engagement as mediator. Here comes to the perceived contingency and user engagement as mediator. First, higher message interactivity can induce greater involvement with the content provided by the website. Next, interactive features that offered by a website produce active cognitive of user and can result in greater feeling of engagement. And next part, perceived contingency and user engagement as mediator. They test the following 2 hypotheses. Hypothesis 3. Perceived contingency will mediate the effect of message interactivity on user engagement, attitude, and behavior intention toward the website. And also, user engagement will mediate the effect of message interactivity on attitude and behavior intention toward the website. The next part is about the method. As the article has mentioned, a 5-condition between subject lab experiment was conducted to gather data and test our hypothesis and research question. Ordinal variation of interactivity for the sake of parsimony. The participants can be seen clearly on the PowerPoint. A total of 110 participants were recruited from undergraduate classes at a large United States university. Participants' age ranged from 18 to 55 years old, with an average of 21.24, and 29% were male. Here come the experimental manipulations. In order to have more accurate result, first, in the low condition, no interaction history reviewed. In the medium and high condition, the number of user action items in the browse history and search history tabs differed from such that in the medium condition, the 2 most recently browsed and searched movies were shown. In the high condition, all the movies that user browsed or searched were displayed. Secondly, the second feature to be manipulated was the most recent search result. Feature located under the search box as a drop-down list. Last but not the least, the third feature manipulated was the live chat function, considered the highest from the message interactivity. So is the result part. The result after the experimental process, the result obtained in the article is a multivariate analysis of covariance was conducted on all the dependent variables considered together. With the 5-level message interactivity, manipulation as the independent variables, and 3 covariance described above. This analysis reviewed a significant multivariate effect as a function of the 5-message interactivity variation. The manipulant check is successful. It shows 2 points listed below. The result also shows that H1A, H1B, H1C, and H2B were proved correct. A significant indirect effect of the message interactivity emerged for attitude and behavior intention toward the website when both contingency and user engagement were entered as several mediators. In sum, participants perceived high plus chatbot, and high plus human agent condition to be more contingent upon their action than their counterparts in the low condition, which led to greater user engagement while browsing the website. Here is the summary and discussion parts. At the conclusion part, in all, the study conclusion of the paper could be summarized as 3 points. First one, the level of message interactivity significantly affects participants' evaluation of the website. Secondly, the presence of a chat agent boosts perceived interactivity of the site. Third, the effect of interactivity on attitude and behavior intentions toward the site were mediated by perception of contingency and user engagement. Based on the result, the paper demonstrated its discussion. It could be summarized as follows. The contingency-based message interactivity as a structural affordance have positive effect on both greater perception of contingency, interactivity, dialogue, and user engagement. The perceived contingency is quite critical for user engagement and prediction of user attitude and behavior intentions. The user engagement by message interactivity different from sheer amount of interaction. The psychological perception of contingency enhance user engagement. This discussion listed out two most important conclusions in this part. One is intention history is important in interaction and in self-discovery for patterns of online behavior. The other is live chat boost, perceived interactivity more than interaction history, though they work in different way. Limitation. The limitation of the paper is also obvious. It is not accessing any interaction effect of interaction history and synchronous chat features as two independent factors, and so as the structure level contingency and content level contingency. And adding affordance in this paper, such as most recent search, can't guarantee a linear increase in message interactivity. The last part is our discussion for the class. So the paper has mentioned its suggestion on future study to distinguish two types of effects. First is effect on sheer perception of the potential for contingency. Second is the effect due to actual use of the browse or search history function. So, in the future study, what do you think the distinguish between perception of contingency that are based on cues on the interface and perception arising from actual use of an interactivity tool? Thanks everybody. So that's all of our presentation.